Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Tasmania has officially sworn in the new monarch in a proclamation ceremony at Government House. Marking the end of an era, it was a historic moment for the state's governor, formally confirming the accession to the throne.
Signalling a new chapter of the royal reign, while paying homage to an unforgettable queen. Wreaths were laid below an oak tree of significance.
It was very special to be able to lay the wreath at the tree which Her Majesty had planted.
Observing a minute's silence to remember her lasting legacy. As proceedings began to honour Britain's newest monarch, our nation's anthem rang out. Steeped in tradition, the rise of King Charles III was acknowledged by Tasmania's Governor and Premier.
Do now proclaim Prince Charles Philip Arthur George to be King Charles III. It's a great honour to be able to do that. I feel very privileged because it hasn't been done for 70 years.
Condolence messages continue to pour in from Tasmanians, with interstate visitors from as far as Rockhampton even stopping by to sign the book at Government House.
If people can't travel here to sign the book or the sheets, they can sign online.
With the mourning period continuing, a monumental change was made. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
The Queen's passing will also see Tasmania's Parliament paused until September 27. A condolence motion will be put forward on Tuesday before adjourning for the following 2 weeks. It's unclear whether the time will be regained at a later date. As the official mourning period continues, a Tasmanian grandmother has reflected on our longest reigning sovereign. Kitty Russell remembers the Queen's royal visit to Hobart in 1954 and has shared her personal encounter with the monarch during her time in Launceston at the turn of the century.
The Queen of the Russell family remembers her brush with the Queen of the Commonwealth. 93-year-old Kitty Russell is a matriarch in her own right and has grown up alongside Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Like everybody else in the Empire, sad, shocked. It'll be a great loss to everybody, I think. She's done an excellent job all these years.
Recalling some of her fondest memories watching the royals reign, including her first tour of Tasmania, arriving by boat in 1954.
The ship was the Gothic she came on. Came up the Derwent River, and the whole of, what seemed to me to be the whole of Launceston had gone down to Hobart. People came from all over, and there was no accommodation left, so people opened their homes.
All to catch a glimpse of the royal couple.
It is a great pleasure for me to arrive at the second oldest city in Australia, and I thank you most sincerely for the warmth of your welcome to my husband and myself.
But it was Her Majesty's visit to the island state in 2000 that left a long-lasting imprint on Kitty's life, the monarch making her way through Launceston City Park.
She sort of came straight over to me, and I thought, and she said, "Did you pick these flowers for me from your own garden?" And I said, "Yes, Your Majesty, I did." And she just said, "Thank you, they are beautiful." And she was gone.
It's a special story her family knows all too well.
It's her favourite story to tell to us grandchildren. I think it's just a really big part of her life, and she's always loved the Queen and the whole royal family for that matter.
Paying tribute to her one and only Queen.
70 years is a long time in anybody's life, let alone to be the Queen of England and Australia and all the Commonwealth. It's a very big job she's done, and she has not put a foot wrong.
McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Another adoring Tasmanian family has opened the door on a very special visit from Her Majesty during her 1954 tour. Her one-night stay at Conneville near Cressy demanded meticulous planning and even for some of the home to be rebuilt. Now an annual ritual is being put in place to commemorate the royal connection.
68 years ago, the royal standard waved above the room which welcomed Her Royal Highness. Today, this regal relationship remains a source of great pride.
The first, I think, private residence in Australia to fly the royal standard.
The special visit was born in a chance friendship between the O'Connor family and Prince Philip. The stay was fleeting, but its footprint eternal. The bedroom which hosted Her Majesty remains as it was when she visited in 1954. Her private sitting room next door, reconstructed especially for the visit, is now a picture of royal reverence. Even her chair in the dining room has a plaque commemorating its role in the story.
It was one of those subliminal things that just every day you sort of had a little reminder of it without actually anything being said.
It was Roderick's father and grandmother who hosted the royal couple. He and his wife Kate keep the story alive through extensive record keeping, including the original correspondence between Conneville and Buckingham Palace. One of the demands was for a constant communication link back to London.
These guys walking with big boxes of equipment, which nowadays would be probably less than your mobile phone, setting it all up, and they had stretcher beds in it, and so they could stay up all night and for anything eventful that might happen around the world so the Queen could be informed.
Her Majesty left more than just memories, planting a tree on the property. As the Queen grew into her role, the golden elm grew into its roots and now has pride of place. The Conneville property itself oozes history, having been in the same family's hands for nearly 2 centuries. Her Majesty's special visit is a memory cherished most. One Roderick plans to honour by raising the Union Jack every year on the 23rd of February, the anniversary of her stay.
They just thoroughly enjoyed the opportunity to host the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, and it wasn't often spoken about, but it was certainly in their hearts and minds.
An eternal link between Conneville and the Crown. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmanian News.
And we'll take a look at the rest of the day's news now. Despite experts declaring Labor's victory in the Pembroke by-election, candidate Luke Edmonds isn't celebrating the win just yet. He currently holds a strong lead over Liberal Representative Gregory Brown for the Legislative Council seat. While remaining confident, Mr Edmonds is waiting for the final votes to come in.
There's still some counting to be done, but we are in a pretty good position. But you know, I'm actually a bit overwhelmed by the support from local people.
He deserves this win. He's worked incredibly hard across the community, listening to the concerns of the community, and has been a great advocate for making sure the government's held to account.
It follows weeks of campaigning, with the official announcement to be handed down on Tuesday. 3 women have joined forces to co-launch their campaigns in the contest for seats on a southern Tasmanian council. The Kingborough Thrives network comprises of Claire Gadewright, Jill Hickey and Di Carter. All 3 of the potential representatives are looking to amplify positive impacts in the region.
To make sure the community is cared for, listened to and respected, and we have a focus on a thriving environment, a thriving community and a thriving economy.
A lot of women coming into power is a very heartening state for the world, because women are all about connecting, collaborating, and we also are really good at compassion.
Locals will head to the local government polls in October to cast their vote. 82 years have passed since the world's first major war campaign, which was fought entirely in the air. Tasmanians coming together at Hobart Cenotaph to honour those who fought in the Battle of Britain during the Second World War.
The year was 1940 and the world's first airborne military campaign was taking off, the Commonwealth's Royal Air Force defending the United Kingdom against Nazi Germany's large-scale attacks.
It was a turning point in the war at which the Allied victory was ultimately gained and protected the free world that we know today.
At least 10 Australians involved in the Battle of Britain were killed in action, Tasmania's Stuart Walsh among those shot down.
It's really important that we remember the dedication, the selflessness, the commitment and the skill that those early pilots displayed.
The States Division of the Royal Australian Air Force today holding a wreath-placing ceremony marking 82 years since the conflict.
Together they resisted the tyranny and aggression facing them and fought for peace.
Air Force personnel performing a flyover in the AP3C Orion, as well as a 15-minute roulette display.
We fly up to about 700 k's an hour, 3 metres apart, and all 6 of us do formation aerobatics.
Tasmania's next generation of pilots learning from some of the best.
Checking out how the roulette pilots, what they're doing, what they're standing for, and how their aircraft really work.
It's good to come down and showcase some of the aircraft that the Air Force do have. We can show that to the cadets down here.
Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
The annual Women's 5K Walk Run has kicked off from Launceston's City Park with hundreds of participants fittingly dressed in pink. The event is a celebration and remembrance of life and aims to encourage health awareness for all Tasmanians.
A sea of pink taking over the streets of Launceston for the Women's 5K.
I am pumped, absolutely pumped. I'm so excited. I'm inspired by the pink and I thought, I should prop myself up, get some taffeta, go for gold.
Very excited. It's our first time.
With more than 1,800 participants all coming together for a common cause.
It's important because my mum had breast cancer about 10 years ago. I've got the breast cancer gene, so I had surgery last year to prevent having it.
My mum had breast cancer, she survived it anyway, so it's the first one for me.
Women's health and men's health is really important, and I think more people should get involved.
This year's theme is Do It For Them.
We support all people impacted by cancer, no matter your gender, no matter what type of cancer. So this year we're doing it for them.
With friends Kate Pedley and Matthew Nicholson doing it together, crossing the 5K finish line first with a time of 17 minutes 39.
I feel so grateful to be out here. It's so overwhelming just seeing everyone in pink and men and women having a go.
I suppose cancer's close to me. Grandma passed away of breast cancer and the in-laws have kind of been affected with cancer as well, so it's always important.
With competitors, big and small, proud of their achievements.
Very good, yeah. It feels like an accomplishment that you've done in your life.
And it was an accomplishment for all, with the event already raising over $80,000, which will go towards Cancer Council Tasmania's support and research programs. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Devonport's Bain and Lowe has booted 4 goals to put Norwood into the SANFL Grand Final.
Lowe again, can he get one? Oh, the little man's got 4!
The Tasmanian was the leading goal kicker in today's preliminary final. He'll line up against North Adelaide in next week's decider. The Hobart Chargers have left the NBL1 National Finals Series empty-handed. The side lost today's third and final game of the series against Canberra, 93-72. Jacob Richards top scored with 24. While overnight, the Chargers went down to Western Australian side Rockingham 102-87. Ollie Angerstein scored 20 points and had 11 rebounds. And Tasmanian Lachlan Barkers shot 11 points for Frankston in today's championship game, but his side lost to Rockingham by 11 points.
Good evening. 14 in Hobart today as top of 16 in Launceston and Devonport, Burnie 13. St Helens 16, 14 on Flinders Island, Grove 12 and 7 in Lyowini. The satellite pictures show frontal cloud crossing over the state with extensive low-level cloud sitting about the west and the south with scattered low-level cloud elsewhere. A frontal cloud band is extending over Tasmania and into the Bight with cold air to the west of Tasmania generating speckled cloud, while moisture feeding from the tropical Indian Ocean has produced a band of middle and high-level cloud over most of the mainland. Tomorrow we see a cold and fresh southwesterly airstream flowing over Tasmania, bringing low-level snow to the southern parts of the state. West to southwesterly winds of 20 to 30 knots, reaching up to 35 knots about the south in the morning. There's a gale wind warning for the lower and southeast coast as well as the southwest coast, and there's a strong wind warning for much of the state. There's a bushwalkers alert for the Western and Central Plateau districts, and flood warnings are in place for the South Esk, North Esk and Macquarie rivers. A shower or two in Hobart tomorrow, Dover 9 and showers easing for Ouse. Launceston 13, partly cloudy in Devonport and 11 in Scottsdale. Burnie partly cloudy, 10 degrees in Strawn and a morning shower or two for Stanley. St Helens 13, partly cloudy in Swansea and 10 in Ross. Light showers about the west and far south on Tuesday, easing during the day. Wednesday, a possible shower in the northwest developing in the afternoon, fine elsewhere. And Thursday, showers about the northwest extending to the rest of the north in the morning and the rest of the state during the afternoon. Partly cloudy in Brisbane tomorrow, Sydney 21, a shower or two in Melbourne and 31 in Broome. And right now in Hobart, it's partly cloudy and 9 degrees, Launceston 9 and clear, and Devonport 9 and partly cloudy, and a bit of rain about in the coming days, Lou.
Again, thank you for that, Victoria. That's all your news for this Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us. Kim and the team will be back with you tomorrow. Good night.